over closing business, and a lot of you guys, especially if you're brand new, a lot of you guys may think, hey, how often can I close business? And in all actuality, you can close business as much as you set appointments.
Amen.
And it's all about getting in front of the right people. So the first thing when it comes to business, first slide. Okay. Trust me, your RVPs, the first thing about closing business is you want to close quality business. That's the thing. If you're just closing business or close business, you won't be in business in 6 months or even a year. However, if you're in the right market, if you're explaining things the right way, then you guys will be in business for a very long time. I seen this meme the other day and I loved it because it's so true. You want to write some business, for either a trip or a promotion, and then the next thing you know, you got a negative and a chargeback, and you're like, this is not too nice. And you do enough of those, you might see yourself. Never mind, I was going to say what I'm going to say, but yeah, you won't be able to get a good place. The next thing you want to do, and the first thing is that you want to close yourself. And the thing is, you have to understand that Primerica is the best policy that's out there. And before I even close a person's policy, I know I'm going to close it. I know I am. Why? Because I'm confident that there's nothing else that's out there that I can't be. And I've closed enough business, and when you get on the more appointments and the more activity you go on, you have a confidence, and not an arrogance, but it's a fact that you can't put a policy in front of me that I'm not going to be able to destroy. And a couple of days ago, I closed 3 life apps. Supposed to be 5 life apps in that one day, but it was 3. Those are the one that I went on. 2 of them didn't have their policies with them, and they said, "Oh, I have term," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Okay, so how much term do you have?" 500,000. Okay, and how much you paying a month for this? $15. You're 50 years old, ma'am. I don't think you have that and all that. And then she goes and she finds out. And before I say, look, I'm pretty sure you have something that's called a cash value policy, but it's more a universal life insurance policy, and it works X, Y, and Z. And you probably, at the point now where you don't have any cash value, or it's getting ready to close, or whatever the case may be. And she calls me a day later. You're like, "Mr. Johnson, you're so right. It is that universal stuff. I thought I had term this whole time." So what did I have? Credibility. Why? Because I knew exactly what it was. And when you understand the business and you understand these policies, it makes it that much easier. So again, know your product. How do you know your product? You come to training, okay? You read other policies, okay? A lot of things I learned early on, and I still listen to because he gives a lot of good knowledge, is go to Dave Ramsey on YouTube, and he has his own channel, and he's constantly getting new information and presenting new things, and he's right on it, and and you can hear him debating other whole life agents, and he just shuts them down, and I love it, and then you get experience from that. Okay, so one of the things about whole life policies is. I say, are you using this for investments? And they say yes. And I'm like, okay, so sometimes I show them this, and I understand it as an investment, but do you understand inside your policy, you have to beat your policy percentage is about 7% that you're being charged in fees. So in order for you to even get a decent return, your policy has to beat above the 7% that you're being charged in that own policy. So in order for you to actually do well in your policy has to get you 10 to 12% to even be halfway decent. And then well, what do you mean the different fees? And I show them, look, you have the pure insurance, the general account, the premiums, the cost of insurance, the policy loans. These guys, 99.999% of them don't know that information. And then I like it because it makes it that much more visible if they have an issue and they think, their policy is pretty good. Another tip that I would give you guys, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are fighting ghosts. So there's times you go on these policies, these life insurance KTs and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have my policy in front of me." I closed in the last week. I closed 4 policies where they didn't have the policy in front of them. But what I did is I had a sample. I have samples of other people's term policies, other people's whole life, universal, all that type of stuff. And I said, you know what? I have a client that put $100,000 into his whole life policy, and he's paying $3,000 a month Ford, they keep it a force. The guy's only 34 years of age for $1 million policy, and it states in his policy that in 2055, his policy is going to lapse. So not only does he not have the $100,000, he doesn't have any. He has no cash value. He has no premiums or no investments from that money, and he has no life insurance. So proof sells it a lot of the time, because if you just say something, okay, oh, you just want to sell me a product. But when you can show them a AAA policy, when you can show them a Northwestern Mutual policy, and I keep the ones that are the biggest name, Northwest Mutual, Prudential, all these policies. I keep a couple of sample of those on my iPad. So when I come to them, they don't have the policies. I'm like, hey, you either have one of these, and these are how they work. And then right off the back, like, I don't want to lose out of this. And they can see somebody else lost money. And like, hey, my goal is to help you avoid this, because 5, 10, 15 years later, we don't have the policy in front of us, but I can guarantee you that you're going to be in a position to where you're going to be this client if we don't do something about it now. You're healthy now, you're insurable now. Let's go ahead and apply for the policy. And if anything I had told you wasn't truthful, if I lied about one thing in your policy, and my policy is not all that I said to be, don't do business with me, okay? One of the things I say to my clients when I sit down with them is, even when I'm closing a business, I say, hey, don't just listen to me. When I come back with a policy, if anything I told you about the increasing benefit rider, guaranteed insurability to age 100, if any of these things, the terminal illness rider, if any of these things are not in the policy, hey, don't do business with me. Now, what did I do? I lowered their wall, because I'm telling them, hey, don't even take my word for it. Let the policy speak for itself. So now they're like, okay, worst case scenario, he's telling me I can cancel. But now they feel okay doing business with me, even with the policy, because I'm going to come back to them, and I'm also doing an F&A. So now what I'm doing is, I'm not just selling the life insurance, guys. You got to understand you're selling yourself. You have to present yourself as a professional. You have to they have to have confidence in you, and you have to be competent. So when you go in front of the KTs and you're going in front of these individuals, you can't be scared. Now I know you're going to be nervous, but you can't show it. You gotta have a poker face, because when you're doing that, and you can save them without a certainty, I'm going to do a great job for you, and I'm not just going to help you with your life insurance, but I can help you get out of debt. I can help you put together an investment plan, and even if you're not securities licensed, hey, I can come back to you with one of the best guys in my office who's going to help you retire. So hopefully, okay, Mr. and Mr. Jones, you shouldn't need this life insurance. I told him my goal for you is in 15 to 20, 30 years, you don't need this. However, if by some chance you do, you're covered and you don't have to worry about it. And you're going to see the walls lower. And you're like, wait a minute, no one's ever spoken to me like this. This guy's not just going to help me with my life insurance. This guy's going to help me with every financial aspect of my life. And then I tell them, hey, you can make up your number in a way. I say, hey, normally to sit down with an individual with my type of licenses, it can cost you thousands of dollars. And I'm going to do this for free. The only thing that I ask for, if it makes sense, of other people that I can sit down with, that is my only payment. And then now you got the referrals. So far this week, I got 6 referrals, and I closed on 5 of them. Okay? Because I'm confident. So that's all I have for you guys. Just have confidence. This is the best, and I'll see you at the top.